and welcome to the World Battery Metals and Mining News for the 6th-8th of September, 2024.
China lodges WTO complaint over Canada's EV and metal tariffs. China plans to challenge Canada's latest tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles, steel, and aluminum at the World Trade Organization, WTO, describing the move as blatant trade protectionism. It's the third time this year that China has protested against EV tariffs at the WTO, previously targeting the US and European Union. Canada's decision to slap a 100% tariff on Chinese-made EVs, hybrids, trucks, and more starting October 1st, along with a 25% tariff on Chinese steel and aluminum effective October 15th, is their most recent salvo in a global trend of countries trying to shield their economies from China's aggressive export tactics. Meanwhile, Beijing is counteracting with an anti-dumping probe into Canadian rapeseed imports. In this tangled web of tariffs and retaliation, it's a wonder anyone can keep their supply chains straight. One can only hope that rational negotiation prevails without too much posturing. Otherwise, this tit-for-tat might just end with importing tariffs on fresh air. Citi says U.S. election risk to contain metals prices for now. Citigroup is playing the metal market like a fiddle, predicting no significant gains till post-U.S. election due to subdued global risk appetite and potential delays in Chinese stimulus. The analysts, clearly tired of this soap opera, are eyeing Fed rate cuts and increased China policy easing to lift metals prices late next year, assuming the madness of the elections subsides. With Trump potentially squaring off against VP Kamala Harris in what's forecasted to be a nail-biter, metal prices have taken a hit, and even Goldman Sachs decided to pour gasoline on the fire by slashing its 2025 copper forecast. As if that wasn't enough, the latest U.S. jobs report was as disappointing as a cheap mining stock, causing further declines in metals like copper and aluminum, both down in the dumps this week. Citi optimistically holds its forecasts, though, betting on a future global growth recovery to rescue prices, but warns of tariff risks if Trump gets his second act. U.S. steel assets face chopping block without Japan deal. United States Steel Corp faces an uncertain future as Nippon Steel Corp's $14.1 billion takeover is tangled in political red tape, with President Biden likely to veto it due to foreign investment concerns. Analysts predict a potential breakup of U.S. steel into smaller parts if the deal collapses, despite the sentimental value attached to this iconic American company. Top bidders could include private equity and domestic steel firms. A prized asset, the modern Big River Steel Mill, could attract investment from environmentally conscious players like Nucor Corp, while the aging, union-heavy blast furnaces may tarnish the sale prospects. The political sentiment, underscored by Biden's America First rhetoric and the upcoming election, puts a heavy burden on the company's fate. In a year where Pennsylvania's job market is a hot topic, this is more than just a corporate saga. It's a political firestorm waiting to happen. First Quantum, to invest $3.5 billion in Taca Copper project in Argentina, in a report. First Quantum Minerals is gearing up to commence the $3.5 billion Taca Taca copper project in Argentina, signaling optimism amidst economic downturns. Meeting with Argentine officials, they've announced construction will kick off in 2025, aiming to energize the region's job market and economy. The Taca Taca project, a promising copper-gold-molybdenum porphyry with substantial resources, will undoubtedly require rigorous technical and environmental scrutiny, a rational approach we can all get behind. The Salta government and the Argentine Geological and Mining Service are set to ensure that oversight. It's refreshing to see such collaborative initiatives, although one can't help but notice First Quantum's reluctance to comment. Their stock ticked up 0.4%, reflecting cautious investor optimism. Now, if only governments were as proactive across the board, we'd have fewer industry hiccups. Perseus Mining ups stake in Guinea-focused miner. Perseus Mining is incrementally upping its stake in Predictive Discovery, now holding 19.9% of the BlackRock-backed company that's steering the Bankan gold project in Guinea. Despite this notable share, Perseus insists it has no plans for a hostile takeover. This move comes on the heels of Perseus acquiring OreCorp's Tanzanian gold asset, aiming to launch the Nyanzaga project by 2027. Predictive Discovery is prepping for a 2028 start at Bangkan, where they're clearing governmental hurdles and fine-tuning feasibility studies for the 270,000 ounces per year venture. With major players like BlackRock and T. Rowe Price already on board, Perseus' expanding portfolio across Ghana, Ivory Coast, Tanzania, and Sudan adds a fascinating dimension, though one can't help but chuckle at the predictably voracious appetite of mining giants. Brazilian Critical Minerals attracts deal with magnet manufacturer. Brazilian Critical Minerals, ASX, BCM, has entered into a 5-year memorandum of understanding with Senai Regional Department of Minas Gerais, boasting their upcoming Lab Fab permanent magnet manufacturing facility, the first in Latin America. This MOU is all about technological advancement in rare earth magnet manufacturing, aiming to start operations this year and target an annual output of 200 tons. The agreement underscores joint research, development, and pilot projects to bolster the rare earth magnet supply chain, highlighting the indispensable role of these magnets in high-performance machines and a forecasted surge in demand by 2040. Of course, while this all sounds promising, let's not forget that Brazilian Critical Minerals, with its relatively modest market cap of $10.79 million, owns the Ema and Apuí projects, spanning over 700 kilometers in Brazil. Whether this partnership transforms into tangible, market-shifting innovations remains to be seen, but at least they've got grandiose plans to keep things interesting. Perseus Mining ups stake in Predictive Discovery. Perseus Mining, PRU, has bumped up its stake in Predictive Discovery to 19.9%, using funds from an unwound equity swap position. While Perseus, flaunting a $3.37 billion market cap, claims it has no immediate plans to take over Predictive, their strategic increase from a previous 13.82% interest speaks volumes. Predictive Discovery, hot on the trail of gold in Guinea's Seguiri Basin, caught Perseus's eye, especially with its promising Bankan gold project. CEO Jeff Quartermain emphasizes their aim to leverage significant cash reserves, $587 million as of mid-2024, to snag opportunities promising substantial growth. As a gold-focused entity with assets peppered across Africa, Perseus seems keen on making calculated, cash-savvy moves in the golden chase.